All right, what's going on, Alpha Futures traders? Our audience here. I have another qualified trader with me here today. If you don't know, my name is Ben Chafee. I'm COO of Alpha Futures, and I am lucky enough to go through and interview our successful qualified traders. That's exactly what I have here today. Who am I here with today?
Hi, my name is Carlos Espindola. I hope everyone is doing well here.
Awesome, Carlos. Thanks so much. Carlos is actually joining us from work today on his lunch break, which we appreciate so much. Taking the time to do this with me is awesome, man. Thanks so much. We absolutely want to highlight your success story, which has been amazing. So, kind of walk us through who you are, where you're from, how long you've been trading, what got you into prop firms, anything you're willing to share here.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started my career in trading in back in 2020, right before the peak of COVID. I actually started options trading with Robinhood. And those here in the United States, I don't know how the other parts of the world, but there was a lot of stimulus support provided to those to a lot of Americans. Some of that extra money, I started dabbing into trading, and that's sort of where my career started. Options trading. I remember making my first $100 buying an Apple call, and man, it was such a rush, knowing that at the time I wasn't making much money. I was making maybe like 20 an hour. Knowing that I can make that much money, almost my entire 8-hour job, in just 15 minutes in a breakfast, I think that kind of changed the paradigm and how I viewed the world is out there for anyone that's willing to put in that work and to take. Um, but it's been very tumultuous. As I'm sure many people who are trading know, options are quite difficult. They're not for novices. I was there during the peak of GameStop, during the peak of
Mhm.
AMC, seeing huge swings going from $2,000 to $30,000 makes you feel invincible. But I lost all of it. There's no risk management. And those are one of the lessons I learned quickly. Um, just kind of get lost in greed and fear. Very emotional time period. And I'm glad I discovered uh, prop trading because they instill those mechanics into you. I've always kind of wanted an environment such as prop trading, at least because of the CFDs and the futures in
Mhm.
your industry. I found them to be much easier to trade. The risk rewards are much more, you know how much you're willing to lose. With options, it's very variable, very difficult. You got to know all the Greeks. With this one, you set your stop loss and you take profit, make sure the ratio is within your wants, and you're good to go. But yeah, that's a little bit about me and my trading career.
So that's even the thing I liked with prop firms too. You talked about, like, yes, of course, you can set a stop loss, which in theory you can do on options too. Like, if you have the discipline to do it, that's the way it should go, right? The reason
Yeah.
I kind of started seeing success as a prop trader was like, okay, I spend this much on my evaluation. That's my risk. No matter what I
Yeah.
make or lose on the account, that's my risk right there. I love that being a
Hmm.
set risk because on personal accounts, sure, it was whatever I put into the account. Because like every other
Hmm.
trader, I've put in thousands of dollars into an account and it's gone a week
Yeah.
later because I made a bunch of
Yeah.
bad decisions, right?
Yeah.
That's why I
Yeah.
started to really like prop firms personally because I was like, in futures, our least expensive account is only $79. That's
Yeah.
not much risk at all to take on as a trader, especially when the upside. I mean, just the audience knows Carlos did a $7,000 payout with us this week. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm sure you didn't spend only $79 on your evaluations, but still, it was only a couple $100 of risk. Return 7,000. That's incredibly, incredibly tough to do in any trading environment. Like, I'm not saying prop trading is easy,
Hmm.
but it opens that door to a very small amount of risk on the trader with obviously a lot of upside. And you're a perfect example of it. So, my journey was pretty similar, stocks and options trader in the US too, same exact thing. So, you said you're located in California, right?
That's correct. Yes,
Where,
located in California.
whereabouts?
I live around the LA
Okay,
SB area. So
cool.
I've been here my whole life. This is my
Cool.
hometown. And so trading has allowed me to remain here. It's not a cheap place to live,
No,
but
I live in San Diego, so I know. I lived in LA. I lived in LA for a year as well. It's definitely not a cheap area. And like we were talking about, trading has the power to really supplement your income, which you've obviously figured out and you're doing extremely well with. But yeah, it's cool.
thank
I'm
you.
down here in San Diego too, so that's what it worked out for noon today for both of us. I was glad to hear that. Always tough with the different time frames and stuff, getting people on the same page. Um, so kind of walk me through your prop firm journey, right? You mentioned CFDs. Were you trading with Alpha Cap on the CFD side? Is that how you found us at Alpha Futures? Tell me, what other firms you've been funded with? Go ahead. Like, I know some people are always like, should I mention other firms here? Completely free to do so. You know what I mean? Let us know what you've seen in the industry, what you liked, maybe what you disliked, without, of course, hammering any other firms or anything like that.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
what you liked, what you disliked. Obviously, what led you towards Alpha Futures? Walk me through that.
Yeah. Kind of a bit before, as I mentioned, the options trading, uh, I had gotten quite into some debt, tr options trading, um, and I was looking at options to how to take advantage of the skill set that I've developed over the course without much capital. And I think seeing Alpha Capital Group, um, that was almost like a light in bulb popping off. I'm like, this can't be real. This is amazing. Um, the ability to be able to get paid for the skill without having the capital, I think it's something extremely valuable that I don't think enough people are taking advantage of even to this day. I know the prop scene is now has grown a lot, but yet I think there's still a lot of untapped potential there. So I suppose back to the question, however, um, that's sort of how I got introduced to it. That need of I still want to trade. I don't want to give up. I don't have any money though, and I started my first prop with just a couple $100. I opened an account. I blew it. Took me about 4 months to kind of get the groove of things, and man, I remember getting that first. I think my first. It was on a 50K account, my first $800 withdrawal. I said, man, this is the beginning. If only I could keep at it. And lo and behold, yeah, been in the prop scene for a year. Yeah, a year and 2 months. I've gone from 50K to the peak of 1 million in funds managed. It has been there has been a bit of a downhill. The market's been a little bit difficult lately. I think I'm down to maybe 700K. Um,
Still really
but
good.
it's still really good. And I say this as for those that are up and coming, um, it can actually be a little bit scary the amount of success. You're like, I think you get an imposter syndrome, right? Um, but at the same time, know that there's going to be hurdles your way, and you're not dictated on your failures. You're not measured on that. You're measured on your successes. And as long as you don't give up, it's not over. I could lose all my accounts one day, but I wouldn't be worried because I haven't lost what's up here. If I'd done it before, I could do it again. So that gives me a peace of mind that so long I have my skill set and the prop scene is still here, I think I'll be fine.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, account turnover is part of the journey. I've kind of been
Mhm.
transparent about that. If anybody's watched any of my interviews or anything, right? Like, I mean, I've done multi six figures in prop payouts now. It's never been with one account. Like, there's been account turnover and stuff. Like, that's going to
Mhm.
happen. That's just what the drawdown rules in the prop space are going to do. You make some money, you give some back, you might hit drawdown. Okay. Like you said, you've still got the skill set to be able to repeat it and do it again. I love that you said that because I feel the same way. That's good stuff. So, talking about your skill set, do you mind sharing a little bit about what your strategy is? If you were to describe it in a couple sentences, what does that look like?
Yeah, yeah. I want to preface that question with a slightly different answer before I get
Sure.
to that answer. But I think there's a lot of people selling courses who want to give you this like complex, and not to diss those. So, I'm sure they work. Um, but to me, I find the simpler the strategy, the better. Especially if you're a part-time. Maybe if you're a full-time trader, it's not my field. I can't speak for those. But at least for part-time traders, I think the simpler the strategy, the better. And my strategy is really just supply and support and resistance, or supply and demand, whichever one you want to use. And then just trading those, either the breakouts or the rejection, and then just trying to make sure that I always get a risk reward of 1 to 3. So that allows me to be wrong uh, 2 times, and then on the third time that I'm right, I recoup all of those losses. So my strategy allows me to be wrong often, more than, if I hits or tails, less than a 50% chance and still be profitable. That to me was a breakthrough to me. I don't even have to be right half of the time, and I can still win so long as I set up my trades uh, to win more than I lose. That's really the secret. Just make more money than you lose. You are going to lose. Don't set yourself up to blow your account in one trade.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, I even had this conversation with one of our other qualified traders. His name is Kosh, and he actually trades a very different strategy from me. From what you're saying, it sounds like you and I are somewhat similar. I trade supply demand on the 1 hour, is how I would describe my strategy in one sentence, right?
Mm-hmm.
He traded a 0.5R strategy and operates with like an 80% hit rate. And I was
Oh,
like that makes my skin crawl, right? Because like I could
yeah.
never do that. But I mean, Kosh has done multiple payouts with us. It works for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The thing we got to talking about was, right, what I try to get beginner traders just to even shoot for. Not all of them are going to hit this, obviously, otherwise everybody would be profitable, but it's somewhere around a 50% hit rate with a 2 to 1, which it sounds like you're
Mm-hmm.
operating right 3 to 1, and your hit rate, you don't
Mm-hmm.
care as much because you get that risk reward higher. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
try to get people coming into the space that have no clue what trading is. That's what a profitable trader looks like, right? This is the baseline.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can alter that hit rate or the risk reward based on how you see fit. And I think a conversation between you and Kosh would probably be interesting because you guys are opposite ends of the spectrum, right?
Polar.
He's
Polar.
climbed his hit rate and brought that
Yeah.
risk reward down. You're the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to lean towards your style. For me personally, that's what fits better. But that's even he and I had the same conversation about like courses and stuff out there. I believe in them. I really do. I think they're a good thing because I've learned a lot from different traders. You know what I mean? I kind of came to this strategy on my own. I'm sure as you did too. But like I've taken SMC and ICT courses and stuff out
CT.
there. I've
Yeah.
never been like that was a waste of my time, right? Because like while I was like I'm not going to completely change my strategy to match whatever I'm seeing here from this trader, but oh okay, liquidity grabs aren't really something that I looked into much in my strategy before. Now because I took that course and stuff, I was at least able to take something from that trader and say, oh, I noticed that on charts now. That gives me a better understanding of the price action in front of me. So I agree. Like courses out there should not be like, hey, here's the strategy. Everybody should be following it. I think that is extremely misleading. I do think it is. But if you go into it with the approach like, hey, I am paying a successful trader, profitable trader for access to things that have worked for them, and I'm going to take pieces of this. That's really how I think profitable traders are made in the long run. They're taking pieces from
Mm-hmm.
all these different experienced traders. So you know what I mean? I'm kind of conflicted on the course and like all those discords and stuff out there. Some of them
Yeah.
obviously, some of them are terrible, right? Like that's just true.
I don't
Some
know.
of them
No,
I do
yeah.
think there's some of them I do think there's plenty of value there because I've been a paying customer in them before and I've gotten value out of it. So I think you're right when you talk about courses and stuff, right? It's the idea that this perfect strategy needs to be repeated by every single trader. That's what I think is toxic and kind of
Mm-hmm.
unsafe.
For me, the toxicity just comes in. Oh, trade with me. Give me $1,000. I'll have you in a Lamborghini. That's to
Yeah.
me is the toxicity of the courses. I've done
Yeah.
courses myself. Pay $20 a month for like a Discord channel. I think those
Yep.
are fun because I think the community there, they all bring their own ideas, and I think it's very helpful. That comment was meant more towards those types that
Oh,
want to promise
absolutely.
you the
Yeah.
world,
Yeah.
and then set unrealistic targets, and then you end up disappointed, and then you think it's actually not for me. I think those types of people and courses kind of do harm to the trading community.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's always going to be people doing harm to the industry and
Hmm.
people doing good. We hope we're one of the ones doing good, right? That's obviously why we're here
Yeah,
talking today is figure out
yeah,
how we can be doing more good too.
yeah.
Um, But I mean, talking about our industry specifically, I mean, take me through when you found futures in particular. You know, where we are your introduction to futures, or what was. Walk me through that. How did you make that transition to futures?
Y- Yeah, well, I'm gonna be honest. I do love CFDs.
Cool.
It's just that being in the USA, they're very they're illegal to trade directly, basically. It was a really gray area within the law doing it as a prop space. So that whole change when MT5 was banned affected my ability to trade. There was other platforms that just didn't match up to MT5. And I've kind of known my space around futures. They're really not that dissimilar to CFDs, to be quite honest. Just need to understand how much leverage a contract holds and not being able to hold them. You got to close out when the market closes and just reopen. It's fine. I got to babysit them a little. It's not the end of it. But I I remember Alpha Futures came out through Alpha Capital Group mentioning this, and I was one of the first in line to want to try out the platform. And man, do I have to say the platform that you guys used to trade way better than most everything I've used before. Because I've been with other prop future firms that have to synchronize with I forget the name of the trading platform, the charting platform. Anyway, I've used a lot of others is my point, and they're either clunky, they take forever to log in. You set your trade, but you can't look at the chart at the same time on your mobile device. Um, I gotta say, it's made it very easy for me to trade, and it's by far my favorite platform I've ever used in all of the prop space and futures, not just in futures, but even on CFDs. It's gotten to the point where I like it just as much as MT5, and I'm glad that there's an option for that as a US customer.
Awesome. Yeah, I felt this. I mean, just so you know, right? Like we investigated what platforms we're going to go with and everything. Me being a former CFD trader, turned futures trader and stuff, like I've tried it all the same way you have. We are incredibly happy with Project X team. That is the development team that put together Alphatix for us. They designed it specifically for prop traders, prop futures traders, and it shows. You know what I mean? Like you said, you just walked in, you were like, this is awesome. It took all the best stuff of MT5, the best stuff of TradingView, the best stuff of, Thinkorswim, a well-known broker,
Mm-hmm.
and made it specifically for prop traders. So I mean, we're working on Ninja and Tradeovate right now too, because those are obviously incredible brokerages and something we need to offer to our traders. We know that. There was a
Mm-hmm.
reason why we went with Alphatix and Project X first, though. It's like, hey, this was built for prop traders in particular. If you're comfortable on Ninja and Tradeovate, don't worry, we are working on it, like I promise. But there's a reason why we're like, guys, this has everything you need. I promise, it has everything you need. So I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear you feel the same way because I mean, a lot of effort obviously went into the platform. So shout out to Project
Mm-hmm.
X there. That is the development team there. They've done an incredible job. And that is the same development team as Top Step X. I'm sure people out there know
Yes.
that already. That's both platforms are from the Project X team. They've done an incredible job. They're a
Mm-hmm.
team that's obviously Top Step's been in the industry longer than anyone. There's a reason why this product has such a good backing behind it. So I'm really glad to
Mm-hmm.
hear that, though. That's good that the transition was easy for you because a lot of people get intimidated by the CFD to futures transition, like you talked about. Glad to hear Alphatix has made it easier. And like you said, it's not as big of a transition as people think. It's really just
Mm-hmm.
understanding your leverages on the contract. So thanks
Mm-hmm.
for those notes because that's good stuff. So I guess tell me a little bit more about your alpha experience, though, right? We know you love the platform. What else has gone well? Maybe some feedback we can take on too. Things you want to see improved. I'm here to listen to that too. But yeah, kind of tell me about your alpha experience so far in particular.
Yeah, if I could compare Alpha to other prop firms, because I've been funded for quite a few, FXIFY, for example. Um, there's I can't remember the other ones I've been, but that one was one of the big ones. I've been with quite a few. I won't name all of them because I can't remember them all. I have my Discord channel with like 12 servers, and I try not to stay funded too much with just one prop firm. In case
Sure,
something happens, they blow up. I don't want to lose the funded.
sure.
Um, but I gotta say, out of all of them, the payouts have been the fastest. I 24 hours later, it's in my account. You guys do share that a bit with Alpha Capital groups as well, but you guys are very speedy with the payouts and very transparent with the rules. They're very simple. Even though I broke in the newest rules by accident, I'm glad that it's not at the end of the world for me. I've
Yep.
had other prop firms where they're like, okay, you can't make more than 6% a day, which I think is ridiculous. And one time I set a stop loss below the 6%, but it didn't fill. Boom, I lost my 100K account because of the rule. So I hate silly rules. I like how simple it is with you guys. And your team is extremely responsive as well. The support team has been great. Um, Not that I'm trying to gas you guys up. If I had a criticism, trust me, I would say them. But I generally find uh, I really can't find a criticism that I really care about that worth mentioning. Um, I mean, if I had one, it wouldn't be a criticism of you guys; it'd be a criticism of the X platform, right? One full thing because I'm a swing trader. I'll hold trades days or sometimes even weeks. The ability for a contract to auto close and then reopen when the market returns, regardless of how it feels, as long as it's within the SL and TP, little things like that. But yeah, man, it's been honestly great. Anyone in the fans watching this that hasn't been on signed up with Alpha Futures, I really recommend it. You're in good hands. I think they're the same level, if not better than Top Step, and they're great. So
Yeah,
yeah.
appreciate that. I mean, I've
Mm.
said it on our other interviews and stuff too. I trade to Top Step myself. I've posted, I've done, a 50K payout with Top Step and a single payout. I, you know what I mean? We respect them as top the industry for a reason, but
Yeah.
there's things that we feel like they do extremely well. We want to mimic. There's obviously things we feel
Hmm.
like they might be missing that we want to do too.
Hmm.
So I appreciate that a lot, man. Thank you. Just to give you an idea, that's actually an interesting point you said about, you know what I mean? Close it at 459, right? Most other brokers make you close at 410. We do allow you to
Hmm.
trade until 459 Eastern
Yeah.
time. So that is a nice little, USP for us compared to others. But that is an
Hmm.
interesting thing you bring up, talking about the auto close and then reopen, because we know, right, swing plans aren't out there in the future space because the margin requirements are very tricky for holding overnight.
Correct.
And that's what
Yeah.
most people are like, why can't we swing trade? Why can't we swing trade? It's not just like Alpha Futures and Top Step and, My Funny Futures. Not that they don't want to allow it. That's not what's going on here. It's that the margin requirements are much more tricky with futures compared to like CFDs because
Right.
margin requirements are just whatever you want to set, right? Like
Hmm.
obviously the futures and margin requirements are very, very different. So I can tell you we want to continue to investigate that and stuff, but it would need to be way, way lower leverage and margin, but we will continue to look into it. That is an interesting note, though, talking about like, okay, auto close me, that position's done. But if you want to continue to hold, it immediately opens a new position for it. That is an
Yeah.
interesting note. Yeah, that is an interesting note. The only thing that kind of complicates there, again, a difference between us and
The
other firms.
fill.
Yes, the fill, but also like we auto close for you at 459 with no
Hmm.
penalty towards you.
Yes.
Other firms
Yeah.
do penalize you if you
They'll
hold
penalize
past
you.
410. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
I mean, we'll definitely talk with our traders. I think that is a good thing to bring up, though, that I would like to investigate more. Because our thought was just like, okay, auto close everybody, don't breach them, right? We'll try to be more forgiving than other firms there. But
Hmm.
then that brings into, oh, shoot, do they want to be auto liquidated because they don't want to be breached? Or are
Hmm.
they trying to hold that overnight? So
Hmm.
probably will just take a little bit more investigation there. But I can promise you, like, our team is looking into it. But that is a very interesting note that I will at least bring up to ownership and as well as our platform providers. So thanks for that. That's a good thought that we haven't really
Yeah.
investigated before. So that's a really good note. Kind of walk us through what has been your proudest moment, kind of biggest achievement as a trader so far. And then additionally, on top of that, building off of that, what do you see as like your 12-month, 1 year goal in trading?
Yeah. Yeah. I think as my proudest moment, it hasn't been particularly one. It's kind of just been the discovery of prop firms. I think my lifetime payouts across all firms has been something close to maybe $50,000.
Awesome.
Um,
Congratulations. That's amazing.
and yeah, it's been such a life transforming experience. I mean, there's been moments in life, too, like just last Christmas, uh, I have $100 under my name. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna be. I can't get anyone gifts. I don't know what I'm gonna do. To be able to go from that to just randomly buying someone something because I want to has totally been a new change in my life. And yeah, it hasn't been one specific moment. It's just been the entire transition, and I'm eternally grateful for the entire firm, the space to be able to grant me that. Um, so that has been powerful for me. Where I plan on going with this, I obviously plan on continuing to trade in the prop firm space. I would like to eventually have my own fund on the side, just for me, of course. Um, I eventually do want to do it full time. Although I don't know what the timeline for that would be. I do have a pretty successful career in the IT space, so that also pays as well. Being in California, however, you need as much money as you can get. Hopefully, within the next 12 months, I plan to buy a house in the area here. You know, maybe something worth 500K. I don't think I'll be able to pay it all cash, of course, but at least I'll have the prop firm space to provide me with the money for the mortgage, you know? So
Awesome.
hopefully for the next 12 months, that's what I plan to be, you know, final living homeowner out here in
Awesome.
beautiful Golden State.
That's amazing. That's awesome, Carlos. I'm so happy for you.
Thank
I mean,
you.
just talking about the power, right? Like the power that trading first showed you, making that $100 in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
You know, like you're talking about doing, 50,000 in payouts. That's a lot of money. You know what I mean? You see people doing millions in payouts. That's obviously way less than 1%. What we're trying to get
Hmm.
out there is real people like you said, a successful working career, able to supplement your income and change your life. That is amazing, man. I'm so happy for you. So a couple more things here. What would be kind of one piece of advice for new traders out there? Yourself back in 2020. What do you wish somebody told you at that time?
Um, that's an excellent one. I guess if I could give myself an advice back in the day is be patient. I know going on trading, it's very easy to win that golden ticket, right? That one ticket that'll get you out of your job, that'll fix all your problems in just one night. Those could happen, and even if they do, they set a precedent in your idea that you could do it again, and you're gonna lose it all. I think consistency beats luck. So be consistent, take it slow, take your time, and you'll get there one day.
I love it. Awesome. One last thing here. Maybe something, a question you have for the next trader, or a question you would like me to ask the next trader that maybe I didn't ask you today.
Hmm. How did you spend your first payout?
Cool. Awesome. I can tell you, for me, I'll answer it for you and then you can answer it too. For me, it went straight into college debt. So that was
Oh,
kind of my whole story, was paying off. I had over 6 figures of student debt. I used prop firm payouts, completely paid off. I am debt free.
mhm.
That was me though. I mean, my first 11 payouts just went into erasing that debt. So
Yeah.
I had an easy answer there. What about you though? What did you spend your first payout on?
Same personal loan debts.
The debt? Yeah, I figured
Yeah,
you mentioned
I
it.
yeah. So I think that's a good thing. It takes a load off of you. That
Yep.
sucks. So
Yep. Yeah, so you and I are
yeah,
the same there. Hopefully other people have more exciting
I
answers
know.
than us. But I am glad you said it, even when you mentioned it earlier on the call. You said, you had some personal debt. I connected to
Hmm.
that right away too. You and I had a very similar kind of path into the prop space of what got us there and what it got us out of. So that is a cool connection we have there. But yeah, I do hope the other traders have better answers, more exciting answers than us. But that
I know.
is a very real answer, which I appreciate you sharing
Yeah.
it, right? I've never been scared sharing my story, and I actually shared it at an alpha event 3 months ago now. No, just 2 months ago in London. And you know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like college debt isn't a huge thing in the UK the way it is in the States. And when I
Hmm.
said on stage, I was like, I had over $130,000 of student debt that I paid off with prop firm payouts. There was like a gasp in the room, not because like I made that money. It was that there's that much debt in the US from like US students and stuff. So, you know what I mean? I've never been scared to share that story. I'm not ashamed of it either, right? Like people are like, how could you do that? I'm sure you get it more so being in California, in the States and everything. But I do appreciate you giving a very real answer there, because people need to hear it. You know what I mean? It's not,
Yeah.
oh yeah, bought a new i8 or something. You know what I mean? Like it's a
Yeah,
very real
exactly.
answer. Very
Yeah,
real
I didn't
answer.
go. I didn't go to Paris and
Yeah.
blow it on vacations.
Hey,
We're people
eventually,
out here.
right? We could do a couple more.
Eventually,
Yeah, we do a
yeah,
couple more
exactly.
50Ks. Couple more
Actually, did
50K.
go to Bali with a 4K payout eventually. So those do
There you
count. Those do
go.
count. You just
Awesome.
gotta keep going at it.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome, bro. Well,
Um,
Carlos, thank you so much for your time, man. Is there anything you kind of want to ask? Otherwise, we're all set here. Appreciate your time so much. And like I said, unless you got anything else, so I should
no,
let you get on with your day.
that's it. I'll be in San Diego this weekend with some friends, so shoot me
Oh,
some
no way.
ideas on what to do there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely, bro. Hit me up in Discord. I'd be glad to help you out.
It sounds good. All right, then that's it from me then. Thank you so much for this. It's been great.
Awesome. Now, Carlos, you were fantastic. Thanks so much for your time again. And everybody watching this, make sure to like, subscribe, drop a comment about Carlos's story or your own, and we will catch you guys in the next video. Thanks everybody for your time.